There's a lot of friends came to me and asked me, hey, Song, I wanted to start a business, but I don't know which is the best business incorporation that I should opt for. That also includes friends from other countries, foreigners, who came to us and say, hey, which incorporation should I go for? So today I'm going to share with you 5 different types of incorporation of business in Malaysia and which one you should go for. Number 1, sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship undeniably is the most easiest way to start a business in Malaysia. It only costs 30 ringgit in order for you to incorporate that based on your name, and another 30 ringgit, 60 ringgit if you want to set up your own trading name or own enterprise name. So that costs you 60 ringgit maximum. Sole proprietor is looking at one person, so you can start the business yourself and you can set up the name by paying 60 ringgit. This incorporation is the cheapest, fastest, simplest. Why? Because you do not need to prepare audited financial statement. You do not need to get a secretary to incorporate the company for you. You just need to go online, go to SSM, do a thumbprint. There you go. You got the business ready. But if you are 2-person, okay, you have 2 friends, means you and another friend, 2-person or 3 or 4-person that wanted to start a business and you want to go for the easiest way and the cheapest way, yes, you can. Go for partnership. That is our number 2. Partnership. Partnership can go all the way up to 20 partners and you can decide what is the ratio, the profit ratio that you want to share among yourself. So sole proprietor is by yourself, but partnership you can share with your friends. For example, the partnership is making 100,000. You have 10 partners, each of you take 10,000. So as easy as that. But just highlight to you, if you are a foreigner, the first one and the second one, sole proprietor and partnership, may not be the best choice. So now let's look at choice number 3, limited liability partnership. Limited liability partnership is arguably one of the easiest way to set up a separate legal entity. The earlier incorporation, which is sole proprietor and partnership, is non-separate legal entity, means you and the business is the same person. So if you have a partnership, that partner is doing something bad, cheating money, and there's a lot of owing from outside because he used the partnership to borrow money, and that will hit yourself. So that is basically talking about non-separate legal entity. Your liability from the partnership will affect your own personal assets. Now, if you go to limited liability partnership, separate legal entity, that means whatever happens at LLP will stay in LLP. Unless this is a fraud case, where the court can unveil the cover. Otherwise, in general, I would say it's the easiest separate legal entity that you can opt for. The cost in order to set up a separate legal entity under LLP is only 500 ringgit. You can just go to LLP and then just pay 500 to choose your name and then start the business. But as the name suggests, limited liability partnership is looking at least 2 partners in order to start this LLP. There is no secretariat required, there's no audited financial statement required. But that may not be the best incorporation if you have plans for funding, you want to find investors, or if you want to go for crowdfunding, or if you want to go to get a financing, because LLP is mainly for service industries. So another method that you can opt for is number 4, our private limited company, which is the most wanted or most welcome type of incorporation in Malaysia. Now, private limited company in Malaysia, they call it SDN PhD, Sdn Bhd. For Sdn Bhd, you need a secretary. You need to appoint a secretary. You have to get the secretary to go to the SSM, which is the Companies Commission of Malaysia, to set up the company for you, to appoint them as a secretary to set up the company. And at the same time, you need an auditor. So you have to appoint an auditor to help you out with your financial statements affairs. So I have to ask them to come and audit your accounts every year, every financial year, and then you have to pass the accounts to secretary for lodgement. So Sdn Bhd is slightly different. It's also a separate legal entity, but it's slightly different with our limited liability partnership because it uses shares. Okay, so there's a shares disposal. You can play with preference shares, you can play with ordinary shares. So those are the one that you can transact. You can increase your share price, you can do a valuation, then you can sell your shares. So under Sdn Bhd, it's more of a complete package. It's much more of a complete package and a bit more hassle because of the secretary and audit. The cost of getting a private limited company or a Sdn Bhd to set up is more expensive, of course. It can easily go few more times more expensive than our limited liability partnership. But the pro is you can even start a Sdn Bhd even with one person, one shareholder, one director. Okay, so you can do that. And another pro under Sdn Bhd is it's easier for you to get funding. You can sell your shares, you can get investors, you can let the investors become your shareholders, you can even go to the banks and get loans. It's much more easier as long as there's a profit after tax. Why? Is because the company's accounts is being audited. So audited by auditors, you have more credit. Okay, so when we borrow money, it's all about credit. So you have more credit. People believe your accounts because it's audited by an auditor, and everything is verified, true and fair. So Sdn Bhd is the most famous incorporation. Now the last one, number 5, which I want to share with you is Berhad. Now what is Berhad? Public Limited Company. It's not for everyone. The compliance cost is definitely higher. All the incorporations that I've mentioned earlier. But if you want to go for IPO, if you want to list your company on the share market, this is the best option you can go for, which is Berhad. So those are the 5 different types of incorporations. Now I can share with you, if let's say you are new to business, you wanted to start a business, but you do not know how and you may have limited funds, you can always go from a sole proprietor. If you have 2 friends, you can go with partnerships. Once you are stable, you can then move to Sdn Bhd, which is our private limited company. But if you are in the service line and you do not need funding, you can then go to LP, which is much cheaper to manage. But if you are foreigner, you have handful of selections, I would say still number 4 would be a better choice. If you have plans to get employment pass in Malaysia, you want to get more foreigners to come in, number 4, Sdn Bhd, the private limited company, is your only choice if you want to start a business. What is the differences among all these incorporations? You can check out our handbook. I put the link in the description below. Thank you very much, and please subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next video. So which type of incorporation is your favorite? Which one you think you should go for? Let's put it in the comment and we can discuss further. Hello!